afternoon from the kitchen, folks. In this film today, I'm going to make the impossible pie. So why is it an impossible pie? Well, it's one of those recipes where you just literally chuck everything in together, hope for the best, and it's supposed to separate itself into base, filling and topping, all as if by magic. I'm going to give it a whirl. So here are my key ingredients. I've got 4 eggs, I've got 470 ml of milk, I've got 100 grams of desiccated coconut, I've got 30 grams of flour, I've got 200 grams of sugar, 60 grams of butter. I'm going to be using 1/4 teaspoon of table salt, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder and a teaspoon of vanilla essence. So I've already weighed most of the ingredients out. You're going to see how quick and simple this recipe is. It's basically a case of taking this lot and chucking it into there. So into the blender my ingredients go. Here goes the 470 ml of milk, followed by my 200 grams of sugar, my 30 grams of flour, plain flour, my 100 grams of desiccated coconut, my 60 grams of butter, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, my teaspoon of vanilla essence, and 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Is this going to work? I feel like it might make some sort of egg custard, but I'm not 100% sure. Speaking of egg custard, I need to get my eggs in. So I'm taking the precautionary step of cracking my eggs into a pint glass, just in case I get any bits of shell in. I don't want any shell in my cake. At least I can fish it out from the glass first. 2, 3, and then along with everything else, the eggs get poured on top. How can this work? Right, I've put this together, so now for the noisy bit. So there it all is. That is the cake or the pie batter ready to go in the oven. So I've got my little Tefal mini oven here. I'm going to put the temperature to 180. It's on fan oven, so that's good, and I'm going to just put this on for 75 minutes, and when it gets to 60 minutes I shall put this in the oven. It says to cook it for an hour. Incidentally, I do quite often get comments asking, why do you keep your eggshells? And we do keep our eggshells. We crush them up into a fine sort of sharp powder, and that goes on the garden as a natural slug deterrent in the summer. But the lesson here is, don't put your eggs in one basket. Boom boom. So this is the tin that the pie filling is going to go in the oven. However, it does leak slightly. It's one of those tins that you can open and it's not completely watertight. So I'm going to line it with some greaseproof paper. Here's my greaseproof paper. And what I'm going to do is screw it up. And I believe this is called ruching. It's a French patisserie thing. So it just means that your paper is easier to work with. I think I saw it on Bake Off or something like that. I can't pretend that I just knew that. Right, all knowledge is learned. So that now goes in here. I'm just going to get it right into the nooks and crannies of the tin, so it fills it all the way around properly. And I want to fold it over the top, make sure I've got enough paper. So it won't have a perfectly flat side because of the ruffles of the paper, but that's absolutely fine, doesn't matter. I'm just going to trim off some of the excess paper so there's not loads of it hanging around in the oven. That will do. And then as a final belt and braces approach, I'm just going to get a little bit of butter on this brush. It's a silicone brush. And I'm just going to coat the greaseproof paper a little bit, just so nothing sticks to it. I'll show you when I've done it because it's very hard to do with one hand. So here's the mixture. I'm just going to give it a little bash around, and you can see actually, funnily enough, the coconut has floated to the top within there. So yeah, I can see now how this is going to work. It's going to be some sort of coconutty egg custard, I think. Never done it before, never seen a finished one. And I'm going to pour this into the tin. Right, we're just about on 60 minutes, so I'm going to get this in the oven. There it goes. I'll come back to you in a bit. Hey folks, an hour has nearly passed. I think it's looking quite done actually. So what I think I'm going to do is take it out and have a little look at it. Oh look, the coconut really has all come to the top. Feels good, it smells great actually. Really coconut and vanilla-y. I'm just going to give it a little stab with the meat fork, see if this comes out clean. And yeah, that's come out clean. So this is now done. So I'll need to leave this to cool for a little while. So there it is. I'll give it a cover over. I'll come back to it in a little while. So a couple of hours later, here is the impossible pie. And I'm now going to get it out of this tin. Hopefully, in one piece. Okay, so it's definitely like an egg custard, but without the pastry around the edge. Now there should be some kind of pastry base beneath it, but that's what you've got. It does look a bit like an omelette in some respects, but it's definitely a sweet egg custard. So let's have a look inside. It cuts nice and easily. I'm going to need both hands for this. Okay, let's have a look at those layers. So you can see definitely there is a thin layer of pastry at the bottom. Then there's the custard, and then there is the coconut on top. The impossible pie does actually work. I think if I was going to do this again, I'd probably add a bit more flour so the pastry layer at the bottom was a tiny bit thicker. But anyway, let's see what it tastes like. Let's get the picture for the front of the film. Right, I'm going to enjoy this, folks. Oh, that is absolutely beautiful. Wow. I don't very often make sweet things, but I'm going to tell you now, I would make this again. This is delicious. Flipping out. So I need to thank the person whom I got the recipe from for this, and this is Mrs. Marion Turner of Hebden Bridge, who contributed the impossible pie recipe to a cookbook which was produced in Hebden Bridge. I think it was a charity cookbook that was produced by the WI or one of the church groups. And this appeared on the internet. My nan also had a recipe in that book, and I'm going to try and dig the book out so I can get my nan's recipe. But yeah, this is absolutely gorgeous. This is a traditional kind of West Yorkshire, Hebden Bridge, Calderdale type dish, and it's gorgeous. Right, folks, I want to enjoy this. Catch you on the next film, whatever that may be. See you later. The film that you've just watched is a Moss Home and Garden production. You can find more by going to www.mosshomeandgarden.co.uk. I'd just like to say thank you very much for supporting my YouTube channel and for watching my films. It really is very much appreciated. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my YouTube channel in order to receive future updates about the home and garden films which I upload. You can find my YouTube channel by going to www.mosshomeandgarden.co.uk. Please click on the red subscribe button. When you've done that, a little bell will appear. If you press that also, then you'll get future updates about the films which I upload. If you like my films, if you like my style of filming, then you might also like my travel channel, which you will find by going to youtube.com/Stuart Moss or type in www.mosstravel.tv. Again, if you could subscribe to that channel, it would be hugely appreciated. If you'd like to get Moss Home and Garden updates on Facebook, then please open Facebook and do a search for Moss Home and Garden, and you will find the page. If you like the page, then you will get future updates on there. And if you'd like to connect on Instagram for home, garden and travel photography, as well as some stories, then my username is StuMoss, STUMOSS. If you'd like to connect on Twitter, then my username is @StuartMoss. And if you'd like to contact me about film usage or any other issue, please just email me on stewmosshomegarden@gmail.com. Once again, thank you very much for supporting my channel, for watching my films. I do appreciate it. I'd just like you all to have a great day.